This story is based on true events, so watch out and take care. This story begins with a man named Enzo, who is a painter by profession, and in his free time gives karate lessons to children. One night when Enzo was returning home from work, he lit a cigarette while standing at a bus stop, but the very next moment, a car splashed water on him, extinguishing his cigarette. Angry, Enzo threw the cigarette away and started staring at it as it floated down the roadside. The cigarette eventually drifted into a sewer, which was located right in front of the Bank of Rio. Enzo followed the sewer and reached a big bridge, where all the sewer water flowed out. He then went into the drain pipe under the bridge and began inspecting the surroundings. During this, the idea of robbing the bank came to his mind. The next morning, he met his friend Sebastian and told him about his plan. Since Sebastian also desperately needed money, he agreed to join the plan. However, to execute the heist, they needed lots of expensive equipment and some weapons. But at that time, both of them didn't even have a single penny. To arrange money, Enzo went to meet a man named Debauza, who was an old friend of his. But Debauza also didn't have enough money to fund the heist, so he gave Enzo the address of a man named Mario. Mario was also a thief who often committed small-time robberies. The next morning, Enzo went to meet Mario and told him the entire plan. He told Mario that if they succeed in this heist, he will never need to steal again for the rest of his life. Hearing this, Mario was a little confused at first, but eventually he agreed to be part of the plan. That night, both of them went to the sewer. Enzo dropped a measuring tape inside the sewer pipe. Then both of them went into the pipe and measured its depth using the tape. After some calculations, Enzo told Mario that they were just 18 meters away from becoming millionaires. But Mario was worried that if it rained on the day of the heist, the water level inside the pipe would rise, and their plan would fail. To this, Enzo replied that they would only do the heist when the weather was perfectly clear. Mario agreed, and they continued with the planning. During this time, they found out that the bank had motion sensors installed. If anyone tried to break in during the night, the bank's alarm system would be triggered. Enzo explained to everyone that motion sensors don't detect movement, but instead track body heat. To counter this, Enzo made a special suit using sleeping bags so that their body heat would be hidden. The next day, Enzo went to the bank and started taking photos of every department inside to understand the layout and prepare a blueprint. But meanwhile, the bank's security guards caught him taking photos and took him to the basement of the bank. In reality, this was part of Enzo's trick so that he could reach the basement and see the lockers closely. The guards checked Enzo's camera but found nothing because Enzo had already removed the SD card. Since they had no proof against him, they let him go. Enzo then went back to his team and showed them the blueprint of the bank that he had prepared using those photos. He explained that they would enter the bank through the basement since all the lockers were located there. After this, they measured the distance between the sewer and the bank using a bicycle. They marked the tire of the cycle, rode it from the sewer to the bank, and counted how many times the tire rotated to calculate the distance. The next day, Enzo calculated the angle at which they would have to dig to directly reach the inside of the bank. Meanwhile, Enzo also told Mario that the money they were going to steal was insured by the bank. This meant that ordinary people's money would not be harmed during the heist. That night, all of them went under the sewer and began digging a tunnel inside the pipeline. They also included a man named Alberto in their plan, who would help them escape after the robbery. But even after so much planning, their biggest problem remained. How were they going to open all the lockers inside the bank? Actually, there were a total of 400 lockers in that bank, and if it took them 1 minute to open a single locker, then it would take them a total of 6 hours to open them all. The next day, Mario went to another branch of the bank and took a locker in his own name. While opening it, he carefully studied the mechanism. The following day, Mario and his partners stole a van, which they were planning to use to escape after the heist. Then they reached Alberto's house and waited for him outside. But suddenly, a police team arrived and started questioning them because they had parked the van in the middle of the road. Before the police could suspect anything, Alberto and his wife came out of the house and told the officers that these men were their guests and were waiting for them. That night, the group went back to the sewer and continued digging the tunnel. But after a few hours of digging, their drill machine broke down, stopping all their work. Seeing this, Mario became furious and told everyone that he had already invested all his savings in this plan and could not put in any more money. Saying this, Mario left. That night, when Enzo was with his girlfriend, he suddenly got an idea during their conversation. The next morning, he went to Mario's house and explained his entire plan. Here, Enzo revealed that they wouldn't rob the bank at night, but instead in broad daylight. In fact, Enzo's plan was to enter the bank through the main gate in daylight, so that the bank staff and police would think it was just an ordinary robbery. Meanwhile, when the police would be waiting outside the bank, they would escape through the tunnel. By the time the police discovered the tunnel, they would already be far away. Mario really liked this plan, and he decided to go ahead with it. On the day of the robbery, all of them applied glue on their hands so that no fingerprints would be left behind. Sebastian went into the sewer to continue digging the tunnel. Meanwhile, the rest of the team disguised themselves and entered the bank. Once inside, they wore masks and took all the customers hostage. The bank's security guard saw all this on the cameras and immediately informed the police. Mario went to the cashier and ordered him to fill a suitcase with money. On the other hand, Alberto went to the parking lot and locked the gate from inside. Within a few minutes, the police arrived outside the bank and surrounded it from all sides. Seeing this, Enzo took one of the hostages at gunpoint and brought him outside to threaten the police. Enzo warned them that if anyone tried to enter the bank, they would kill all the hostages inside. Inside the bank, Mario also took a hostage at gunpoint and demanded that the security guard come out of his room. At first, the guard refused to come out, but after repeated threats from Mario, he finally came out. Mario took his gun and before sending him outside, also took his phone, so that if the police wanted to contact someone inside, they would call on this phone. After sending the guard outside, Enzo shut down all the cameras so that not even by mistake would any evidence be left against them. Then Enzo went to the basement of the bank and moved a cabinet aside. By then, Sebastian had finished his job and entered the bank through the tunnel. After coming inside, Enzo and Sebastian went to the parking lot and pulled a machine out of the car trunk. Then they reached the locker room and assembled the machine. Actually, Sebastian, who was a civil engineer, had built a special machine that could open these lockers in just 7 seconds. The whole team synchronized their watches and set timers, and Enzo and Sebastian began breaking into the lockers. Meanwhile, Mario learned that police officers had reached the roof of the bank. Immediately, Mario called the police officer leading the mission. Mario threatened him that if he didn't pull his men down from the roof, they would kill all the hostages inside. The captain, unwillingly, agreed to Mario's demand, but still, he secretly deployed 2 snipers on the building opposite so they could shoot the robbers when the time was right. After this, Mario demanded that the captain arrange a meeting with the mayor of the town. The captain replied that it would take at least 1 hour for the mayor to reach the bank. Meanwhile, Enzo and Sebastian had already opened many lockers, which were filled with piles of money and lots of gold. Outside, the police were busy planning how to capture these robbers. The planning was going on because the police thought this was just a minor robbery, and now all the thieves were trapped inside the bank. So, the captain called Mario again and offered him to surrender. Here, the captain said that if you people hand yourselves over to the police, I'll give you a government lawyer who will make sure you and your partners get a very light sentence. However, Mario didn't accept this offer and asked for some time to think. On the other side, we see an old lady whose birthday was today. When Mario found this out, he gave her a chocolate and, as a birthday gift, let her go out of the bank. A little later, the mayor arrived outside the bank, and when the police let Mario talk to him, Mario started abusing him badly. After this, Mario told the captain that now he didn't want to talk to any minister, but only to his lawyer. When the captain asked Mario for his lawyer's number, he gave him the number of a hostage, and when the captain called that number, Mario disguised his voice and talked to him. Actually, Mario was doing this so that his partners could get some more time. Meanwhile, Enzo and the others were busy transferring all the loot into the tunnel, and here, Mario was handling the police and the hostages. Now, in the meantime, we see the captain calling Mario's lawyer, meaning that hostage's phone. But since Mario had switched it off, the captain began to get suspicious. Just then, the captain noticed the sewer outside the bank, and he realized there might be a third way out of the bank. Inside the bank, the robbers had loaded all the loot into a boat, and then Enzo left all their weapons inside the bank vault. Here it is revealed that actually all these weapons were fake because Enzo didn't want to harm anyone. After this, Mario locked all the hostages on the first floor of the bank and then started leaving with Enzo. When the hostages realized the robbers had left, they quickly picked up their phones and started calling their family members outside. Now, when the captain understood the situation, he sent one team inside through the main gate of the bank and another team through the sewer. Meanwhile, Mario erased all the evidence of digging with Enzo and quickly joined his partners. Here, the story goes into flashback, where Enzo and his partners were planning this heist. Actually, Enzo knew the police would figure out that they'd escape through the sewer. So, Enzo and his partners built a small dam inside the sewer to divert the water flow to another direction, so they could escape with their motorboat that way. After this, the captain went into the bank's basement where he saw the tunnel, but he couldn't chase them through the tunnel because the robbers had placed a bomb at its mouth. However, very soon the captain realized that this bomb, like the rest of their weapons, was also fake. But now none of this mattered, because the robbers had already reached their exit point. Here, Enzo and the rest of the partners came out of the sewer into a van, and Sebastian pulled up all the loot. After this, Sebastian also came up, and then they all left. And just like that, a small group of robbers fooled the government and the police and stole a total of $30 million. After the robbery, they reached Alberto's house and divided the loot equally among themselves. They also burned the van that was used in the heist. After destroying all the evidence, they all went their separate ways and started living a comfortable life with the stolen money. However, a few months later, Alberto's wife found out that he was having an affair with another woman. Out of anger, she directly went to the police and revealed everything about the robbery. As soon as the police got the information, they tracked down the robbers one by one, seized all their money, and sent them to jail. Now the story jumps to 7 months later, when Enzo was being released from jail and Mario was waiting for him outside in a luxury car. Here, it is revealed that Enzo had already thought about this, that even if they got caught, they should get the minimum punishment possible. During the robbery, they used fake weapons and harmed no one, so the court sentenced them to only 7 months in prison. Also, there was no record of the money kept in the bank lockers. That's why the government never found out how much money the robbers had actually stolen. Although the bank claimed that the robbers had stolen a total of $25 million and several kilos of gold, during the investigation, the police found only $1 million, which meant that the robbers had hidden the bigger share of the loot. Finally, Enzo and the rest of his partners were released from jail and went on to live a comfortable life with the stolen money. I hope you liked today's story. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, because making a video takes a lot of effort.